Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Tanks. Today we have got the final part of my tier maker list for tier 10 tanks, and today we are going to be doing the tank destroyers. So all of the tank destroyers you see here, with the exception of the 2685 because it's brand new. I've played it a bit. I played it last night, if that dates when this video was recorded, and quite honestly I didn't play very well, but other than that, back to our tier list. Obviously, this is fully filled out with the rest of the tanks. If you haven't already, make sure you go back and check out my light tank, medium tank, and heavy tank video. And let's move on with the tank destroyer. So these are in no particular order. These are just literally the order that the tier list came in. So we will start with the 2684. Either goes between A and B. I think it goes B. The reason I can't put it in A is, and I know this is going to be on a lot of tanks, but you just track this thing. The armor is really annoying, but I wouldn't say the gun is particularly special. Yes, it does 650, but it's quite derpy. The tank's obviously quite quick. But the combination of speed and armor, and the gun is decent. It's going in A. Screw it, I changed my mind. Well, when I play it, it goes in B, but when I'm playing against it, it goes in A, because I can never pen, and I aim at the lower plate so often, and it never pens. Anyway, we'll leave that in A. 268. I personally, this is my list, so personally, Max, you can put it where the feck you want. I'm putting it in B. No, I'm not. I'm putting it in C. I want to put it in B, but I think it goes in C. It's a very underrated tank. Very, very underrated. The gun is amazing. The mobility is not bad. The armor is adequate sometimes. It's not particularly good, but it can bounce shells sometimes. It's not a glass cannon. It's a very good tank. No, I can't bring myself to put it in B. I think people will shout at me. Badger, I think also goes in C. No, actually, no, you know what? Badger is going in B. So obviously, it's quite slow, but it has got one of the best guns in the game. Also, combine that with the fact that your armor is insane. You can just kind of, if you can hold down a position, and people just don't want to push you because you're in a Badger, and you can just absolutely annihilate them if they try. So, yeah, I'd say the Badger goes into B tier. Kind of similar, actually, to the E3. I'd say the Badger and the E3 are kind of on par. Obviously, both got some of the best frontal armor in the game. The E3, decent DPM, not as good as the Badger, but you have got that 750 alpha shot, and also you've got the 395 APCR pen. Wait, is it 95 or 75? I've forgotten. I think it's 75, isn't it? I think I've fucked up. 375 APCR pen is really, really good. But yeah, it's really nice. Obviously, double tracked is always an issue. People get around you, but that's why it's in B and not up in A. E4, I would have to say C. The gun is a little bit more derpy than the E3. The armor is obviously not as good. You do have the half traversable turret, which is nice. I can't put it any lower than that because the gun, again, 375 APCR pen, you can just absolutely annihilate people with that. But other than that, I don't think I can put it any higher either. Foch 155. I hate to say it's got to go in D. It's not that good. Armor's not great. Yeah, the long reload. It's a funny tank. Don't get me wrong. It's funny and it's quite fun to play. Yes, you can load the 395 heat, but you can't hit anything with it. For some reason, the 395 heat, it says it has 395 pen, but I'm 90% sure it actually only has about 300 because it seems to bounce off things that it really shouldn't bounce off. It's quite a derpy tank. It's fast, but yeah. No, I think Foch 155's got to go in D. Foch B. I think it's the same. Honestly, guys, In a platoon, all three of these are quite funny. They can be quite fast. Oh, actually, I don't know about the Foch B. No, I'm going to put the Foch B in C. Because it can snipe if you fire full APCR. It's obviously got the devastating 2,400 clip potential, so you can literally clip tanks out the game. Yeah, I'm going to put it in C. I definitely don't think it deserves to go any higher. FV215B 183. I think it's C. Obviously, 1750 alpha on the Hesh rounds. But it's derpy as all hell. It's slow as all hell. Armor isn't great. Yeah. No. 4005. I'd put it in B. Obviously, you've got the horrendous turret. But the 4005 is just... It's that little bit more mobile than the 215B183. Which means you can actually relocate a bit and move according to the way the game is going. Like, adapt to the game a bit more. Whereas this thing's quite slow and sluggish. It's also, it gets the funny factor that puts it up probably a little bit as well. But I would say solid B. Grill 15. I'm going to chuck it up in A. I genuinely think one of the best tank destroyers at tier 10. It's definitely up there. It's probably my favourite tank destroyer at tier 10. Really, like, very, very, very good tank destroyer. Accuracy is insane, or like for some people it does troll them a bit. Yeah, it's a very, very nice tank. Great sniper, 750 alpha, decent DPM. Back before this thing was nerfed, it'd probably be an OP, but very, very, very solid up there tank. Jagdpanzer E100. I think it's got to go in C. It's funny. It's got the 420 heat pen. But it's sluggish. It's slow as all hell. Suffers from a similar fate as like the E100 and stuff like that. You've just got the cheeks are horrible. And obviously because you've got such a long reload, people just go around you whilst you're on reload. But the gun is decent. And obviously, like I say, the 420 heat pen is quite nice. C doesn't mean the tank's crap. It just means, yeah, no, it's not quite here. But yeah, it's decent tank. STRV, I think it's got to go up in A, hasn't it? I personally don't like the playstyle of this tank at all, and I personally don't like this tank at all, because I hate it. I hate playing against them, and I hate playing it because I find it boring to play, and I hate playing against them because they're just annoying. But I can't deny how good it is in terms of the meta of the game. There's a reason that they're picked in Clan Wars as a defensive tank. You sit him in a bush, you sit him behind a ridge, go like hull down, use your heat guard, and you just out DPM everything pretty much. And really, really good tank. Again, it kind of rolls into the what I was saying in previous videos about like the EBR, the CS, and stuff like that. It kind of changed the meta for tank destroyers. Like, it was then the new standard for tank destroyers in competitive modes. So I think it definitely has to go up here in A. And then last but not least, wait, this tank's even in the game? I think it has to go in... no, we're going to put it in D. I was going to put it in C, but that means it's the same as the 268. I think you just should play a 268. The armor is kind of good on the 113 GFT. The gun is not quite as good as the 268s. And I don't think the mobility's as good. Genuinely, I don't know anything about this tank hardly at all. Yeah, mobility's a little on the low side when you compare it to like the 268 or something like that. So, yeah, the gun's still decent. It's a bit derpy, I'm pretty sure. The shell velocity's quite low. Yeah, the shell velocity's like really low. But 395 heat pen. I'd just say, you know, needs improvement, basically. I don't think it's getting the bin, because it still does what it does relatively well, but I don't think I could really put it any higher. Oh, excuse me. Any higher than the D tier. Jesus Christ, time just flies when you're doing these videos. Seriously. And yeah, that is that is all she wrote. That is my full tier 10 tier list. Oh, the Object 2685, if I had to put it in at the minute, I'd put it in C. It's very similar to the E4. It does have the fully traversable turret, but I'd say the gun is a little bit worse. And Wargaming haven't put the right gun noise on it, which is really upsetting me. Anybody who's been watching my stream will know that's really been upsetting me. So yeah, that is all she wrote. I'll do a quick scroll through for you, just so you can see where your favourite tank is, where it might be. But I think that's a fairly decent look at voice break. Fairly decent look at all of the tier 10 tanks. I would say I haven't made any huge glaringly obvious mistakes. There are obviously a couple that are kind of between tiers, and I could add in OP A star, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then get in the bin, so I could like separate a lot more. But then obviously you could then say, well, why don't I just rank every single tank at tier 10 with a number? I think this is decent. What have we done? 6 tiers? Yeah, 6 tiers. So I think that's decent. I think that shows. Obviously, I would recommend everybody pick up the OP tanks before they change, especially the tech tree ones. A tanks are always solid picks. A tanks are very good, like must-haves. B tanks are very solid picks, very good tanks. C's, decent, like genuinely pretty good tanks still. Would not like say that they're terrible. D is kind of, yeah, they probably need improvement, or you can play tanks that are better. And get in the bin is just don't play them. It's just really not worth. And yeah, that is all she wrote. Like I said, guys, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you think I've made any massive mistakes on where I've put any tanks, then please do let me know in the comments. Let me know if you'd change anything as well. And other than that, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.